The first heat there for Heat A and B is going to be Marty Boyer, and Robin Norman, the Swedish driver, is going to be there on the front row of the grid. Now, it's an interesting one. Listed as Robin Norman Amarin, he races under a Spanish license, but he is, of course, from Stockholm in Sweden. So Robin Norman going to be very interesting to see how he goes around the circuit. He didn't do any of the earlier practice sessions, actually, Robin Norman Amarin. And interestingly, he now has to go into the racing, having only done one session all weekend, pretty much, other than this morning's warm-up, of course. But the 13-year-old from Stockholm on the front row of the grid, he's a footballer, a skier. He's into his ice hockey and snowboarding as well. He wants to emulate Sebastian Vettel when he grows up. 4 world titles in Formula 1. It's not a bad thing to aim for. And we'll see how he goes up against Marty Boyer. Very, very talented Spanish racer, Marty Boyer. He's been a multiple Spanish champion. Very competitive, 13 years of age. He is a 2-time Spanish champion at national level. And racing under the Kids to Win Competición España banner. This will be really interesting to see how well he goes from the front row of the grid. And then, of course, they've got the Estonians, I should say, on the second row of the grid, because we have Ronan Patrick Akala and Rimo Kadapik on the second row. It's going to be very exciting to see how this first junior heat gets underway. It's a very interesting warm-up this morning as well from the juniors. To give you a bit of an idea as to what the pace was in warm-up this morning, the fastest driver of the X30 juniors in warm-up overall was Rimo Kadapik, who actually lines up on the second row of the grid in this first heat. Just a little bit ahead of Alex Lloyd, the Dan Holland racing driver for Great Britain. And they were only a few hundredths of a second ahead of the Polish driver, Jerzy Spinkovic, who was actually the fastest of the odd-numbered karts in the morning warm-up. So we'll have to keep an eye on Spinkovic. Should be really strong over the course of the day. But the whistle goes as the grid is now cleared 3 minutes prior to the start of the heat, and that gives us just about enough time, I reckon, to go through the starting grid for this first heat of the day for the X30 Juniors, qualifying heat AB to give us the different groups of drivers. Let's talk you through the grid. It is Marty Boyer and Robin Norman, I should say, on the front row of the grid, racing under Spanish license, as we said, although he is Swedish in origin. Ronan Patrick Akala and Rimo Kadapik on the second row of the grid. Then it is Oliver Behrman and Lewis Gilbert on the third row. Tommy Pintos and Vilgot Edqvist are on the fourth row from Isidro Callejas and Lorenzo James Flushercross. Alex Ivanov and Felix Aparicio Rodriguez is on row 6. Liam McNeely and Matthew Rees are on row 7 from Olli Pilka and Aaron Reshepi. Luca Graziani and Eric Alanis Bosch are on row 9 from Linus Janssen and Lola Lavinfos on row 10. Then it is Freddie Spindlow, Jules Goujon, Zach Meekin and Benjamin Fugelsang who are there in the mix. 24 karts on the grid. And the X30 Junior first race of the day should be quite a spicy one, actually. We've got plenty of very highly motivated drivers up and down the grid. So we'll see all sorts of battles around the circuit. It should get quite interesting as Marty Boyer and Robin Norman lock swords for the first time here today. We've been talking a lot about Robin Norman and how well he's been going over the course of the weekend, but he has had a very interesting career moving up to this point. He is based here in Spain, hence why he races under a Spanish license, and he's been doing fairly well over the last couple of seasons. But this is his first major test, really, having raced at cadet level for a few years and then took a couple of years break for various different reasons. Now he is back, and he's determined to be at the front. And the young ace from Stockholm is hoping to put one over on the man he joins on the front row of the grid, Marty Boyer, who the Spanish karting world cannot stop writing column inches about. He's a very talented youngster, has the potential to go on and emulate all of those incredible racers from Spain who have made incredible inroads into the world of international motorsport, from the Fernando Alonsos to the Carlos Sainzes. And Marty Boyer could well be one of those in the future. Incredibly talented, but keep out for the Estonians on the second row, actually. Both Ronan Patrick Akala and Rimo Kadapik have been very, very strong this weekend, and Rimo Kadapik in particular has definitely had his Weetabix this morning. He's been going very well indeed in the morning warm-up. The two Brits on the third row, however, Oliver Behrman and Lewis Gilbert, they've been pretty much winning everything in the world of British motorsport of late. Oliver Behrman is a cadet champion, Of course, Lewis Gilbert is the reigning Minimax champion of Great Britain, so he's obviously going to be a very shrewd operator in the early stages here at Valencia. But there's plenty of other drivers in the top 10 who could break the deadlock. Tommy Pintos, Vilgot Edqvist, and two more Spaniards as well, Isidro Callejas and Lorenzo James Flusha-Cross. We're getting the carts underway, and leading them out is the 24, local man Marty Boyer, hoping to start his weekend as he means to go on. Marty Boyer, fastest in both the practice sessions and in qualifying yesterday as well. He is absolutely determined that on his home circuit, he is not going to be beaten. The young Spaniard wants to be top dog, and he certainly has what it takes to get that job done here in the X30 Juniors, but he's got an awful lot of work ahead of him if he's going to do so, and a lot of incredibly motivated young drivers trying to take that top spot away from him. So as the drivers get themselves warmed up, it will be an interesting one. We've got so many competitive spirits here. Marty Boyer, Robin Norman, Ronan Patrick Akala, and Remo Kadapik. Oliver Behrman, Lewis Gilbert, Tommy Pintos, Vilgot Edqvist, Isidro Callejas, and Lorenzo James Flusha-Cross in the top 10. The Estonian Alex Ivanov. Now, who's that just leaving the pits late? That is Freddie Spindlow. On the red speed cart. Now, that's not exactly what he wanted. Freddie Spindlow now has to form up, having done only one formation lap, so he's going to have to drop back into position. Well, basically, he's got to do two incredibly fast laps in the hope that he can catch up with the rest of the field, or he's got to slow up and just fall back into position with only one formation lap. I think he's only got the time to do the latter, actually. So he will fall back into position, having got the kart up to speed. But that's not the best way for Freddie Spindlow to start his weekend. But we were talking about the drivers just in behind the top 10. Alex Ivanov of Estonia, Felix Aparicio Rodriguez. Both of those two should be pretty strong in the midfield as well. They'll try and make their way through. But the drivers are now starting to form up in position. Freddie Spindlow is actually going to be a long way back at this rate. He is obviously trying to catch up with the rest of the field, but he's going to be about half a lap behind them all as the race gets underway. That is not ideal, and he knows that he's got a very, very tough job ahead of him now to try and close up. But he is absolutely racing already, and he knows it. So the grid is forming up. Boyer and Norman, Hakala and Kadapik, Behrman and Gilbert, Pintos and Edqvist, Callejas and Flusha-Cross, Ivanov and Aparicio Rodriguez, McNeely and Rees, Pilka and Reshepi, Graziani and Alanis Bosch, Janssen and Lovinfoss, Goujon on his own, Meekin and Fugelsang, and then Freddie Spindlow is going to be about half a lap behind. Here we go. Are we going round again? Yes, we are going round again. So they are going to do another formation lap, and I assume that is because Freddie Spindlow is obviously trying to catch up with them, and he now has an opportunity to do that. However, they're still going to need to slow up a bit to give Freddie Spindlow a chance to catch them up. So Freddie Spindlow effectively is racing at this point as he is pedal to the metal trying to close up on the rest of the field, but they are going round again. So Spindlow is desperately trying to catch up. And they are now slowing down and forming up on the straight before the back straight, and that will definitely give Freddie Spindlow a chance to catch. Now, if he gets there before the red line, he can actually take up his grid position, which is on the 11th row. He can take up row 20. He can take up his 21st position on the grid. If he gets there just after the red line, then he will have to start from the very back of the grid. But at least that means he will not be half a lap behind when the race starts. So he's got to keep going. Go on, Freddie. He's going to catch them, I think, just about with a few seconds in hand. But they can't really wait another formation. That's going to be close, actually, for Freddie Spindlow. Come on, Freddie. Put your foot down. I think he'll just about be in with a chance here as they come out of the chicane. They're slowing right up. And Freddie is going to basically be hot on the heels. He'll be absolutely flat on the throttle. And away we go this time, I do believe. So we're underway in racing. Freddie Spindlow's a few seconds back, but Marty Boyer has got himself into the lead. That's exactly what he wanted. We are racing. Marty Boyer into the lead, no problems at all. 7 laps for the juniors as they work their way through. Whoops, a few of them up and over the curbs as they bounce around for position. But Marty Boyer, the 24, has hit the front. Meanwhile, it's going to be a close one behind as the 50 of Robin Norman remains in second position. The Swede is there doing a fantastic job. So as Robin Norman hustles in second position, trying to close up on Marty Boyer. It's all getting a little bit tight and intense behind as the rest of the field tries to work themselves into a good position. Freddie Spinlow still going absolutely all guns blazing, trying to close up on the back of the field. And he's only a few cart lengths behind now. But Marty Boyer, look at that. He's actually pulling out a bit of a gap now on Robin Norman, as Marty Boyer is absolutely determined to dominate this weekend going away. And Marty Boyer is doing just that. So Marty Boyer leads. Robin Norman is second. Ronan Patrick Hakala is in third place. From Rimo Kanapic, Oliver Behrman, Tommy Pintos in sixth place. From Isidro Callejas, Alex Ivanov, Lewis Gilbert down to ninth, and Ollie Pilker in 10th place. So as the drivers continue to battle their way around. Oh, that's getting a little bit close for 10th position as the carts start to run around over the chicane. And a few of them just pushing the apron just a little bit too much there as they battle away for position. That is the 99 jostling away there. That is the 99 of Alex Ivanov, the Estonian, trying to maintain position and try and move his way forward. Freddie Spinlow's actually already made an overtaking move, so he's getting himself back into position. And the rest of the weekend is uphill from here. On the back straight, though, Robin Norman trying to close up on the Spaniard, Marty Boyer. Boyer leads the way, third position. That is the battle between Rimo Kanapic and Ronan Patrick Hakala. Out of the final chicane. And it's all go for this race now as third position is being contested. 42, Rimo Kanapic up into third place as he leads the charge. 5 of them all together. Kanapic, Hakala, Pintos, Behrman and Callejas. But out in front, Robin Norman has caught up with Marty Boyer and he is already starting his attack. So the battle is raging now. It's up the inside. That is a strong move from Behrman as he tries to get the move up into 5th position. Doesn't quite make it stick on Tommy Pintos. And now he's going to try again on the left-hander. Keeps his foot in. This time he's going to get there. Beautifully done, but he needs to shut the door because here comes Callejas. Isidro Callejas goes up the inside. Behrman keeps it wide and tucks back in for the inside on the right-hander. Good move from Behrman. Isidro Callejas couldn't quite overtake him on that one. And that has allowed Tommy Pintos to get back through into 6th position. So Marty Boyer leads the way. 2nd position, that is Robin Norman into the chicane. And it's still the 2 Estonians chasing them down. Kanapic and Hakala. Up to 5th place has come Behrman. Then it's Pintos in front of Callejas. And here comes Lewis Gilbert. Gilbert making the move on the inside. Gilbert up to 7th place. Good move there from Lewis Gilbert. And Callejas slots back into 8th position in front of Ollie Pilker and Lorenzo James Flusher-Cross. Now, we've got a yellow flag at the final turn. Somebody has come off there. Just trying to see who it is from my current position. That is Ben Fuglsang. That is the Norwegian. Ben Fuglsang is out of the race at the final turn. So problems there for young Benjamin. He's a very emotional young lad, is Ben. And unfortunately, that is the worst possible start to his weekend. And he knows it. And up in the lead is Robin Norman. My apologies. Robin Norman has hit the front. I was so busy focusing on Ben Fuglsang that I didn't spot Robin Norman taking the lead. But Marty Boyer's got a good exit. And he's going to try and get there. In fact, now Marty Boyer is really starting to assert himself on the back straight. Robin Norman getting the hurry up from Marty Boyer. Out of the final chicane. It's still Kanapic and Hakala in 2nd and 3rd place, being chased by Oliver Behrman. Up to 6th position has gone Lewis Gilbert now. He's overtaken the 28 of Tommy Pintos. Then it's Ollie Pilker, Callejas, Flusher-Cross, Ivanov, Idqvist, McNeely, Aparicio Rodriguez, Alanis Bosch, Rees, Graziani and Reshepi from Janssen, Goujon, Spindlow, Lovinfoss and Meekin. Now, where is Zach Meekin? Has he dropped right the way down to the back? Yes, I'm afraid he has on this occasion. The French racer Lola Lovinfoss has got through on the last lap. So let's see how the battle is raging between Robin Norman and Marty Boyer. Well, Boyer is still close, and it's still particularly intense between those two. If they start to really have a race of it, then that will give Kanapic and Hakala a chance to close up. But Oliver Behrman is closing on them, so it's definitely not done and dusted yet. Through that double right flick and into the final chicane, Robin Norman being hustled all the way around the circuit by Marty Boyer. Now is Boyer going to have a go into the first corner? He's going to be thinking about it. He's sticking like glue to the bumper of Robin Norman, and he is not going for the move yet. He is giving it plenty of aggression in terms of where he positions the kart. He's looking left, he's looking right. He's giving Robin Norman so much pressure. He is the intimidator here at Valencia. But Marty Boyer doesn't have to lead every lap of the race. He only has to lead one. Now we've got a car parked up on the far side. That is Zach Meekin. So Zach Meekin on the exit of turn 1 has parked his car and his race is over. So that is, I'm afraid, a real shame for Zach Meekin. And game over for him. The battle for third is intensifying. Oliver Bearman and Lewis Gilbert are closing up on the Estonians. Kadapik and Hakala in third and fourth position, having a real meaty fight. And still, Marty Boyer hustling Robin Norman. Now into the chicane, trying to make the move up the inside, and Marty Boyer's through. So Marty Boyer takes the lead there from Robin Norman. They look back, and the Estonians are still scrapping away. Kadapik and Hakala, they're working together. Look, Kadapik has started defending. He clearly believes he's not going to catch up with the leading two, and he's now defending from Hakala, with Bearman and Gilbert getting very close. Seventh position behind them is Kaliejas in front of Pintos, Ivanov and Flushercross. Edqvist in 11th, then Pilka, McNeely, Aparicio Rodriguez, Alanis Bosch, and Reshepi. Now we've got a warning for a yellow flag. Now is that for Zach Meakin? No, it's the 27, I think it is. Has Lola Lovinfoss just finished the race? Is Lovinfoss out of it? No, Lovinfoss is still going round. My apologies. I thought Lovinfoss had parked up, but she is still in position. Excuse me. It's getting a little bit jostly further back behind the top six. That is the battle for 10th position, getting a little too close for comfort. That's Flushercross and Edqvist getting a little bit too close together as they battle for position, with the checkered flag flies, and it's done for Marty Boyer. Marty Boyer has got one over on Robin Norman on the final lap. And Marty Boyer wins the first heat from Robin Norman. Kadapik, Hakala, Bearman, Gilbert, Pintos and Ivanov are in the top 8, with Kaliejas and Flushercross in the top 10. But first blood to Boyer here at Valencia, exactly as he wanted it. He hustled Robin Norman all the way around the racetrack, and then on lap 7, boom, thank you very much. I'll take that victory away from you if that's all right. Even if it isn't, I'm doing it anyway. So Marty Boyer takes the victory, beautifully done. And he wins in sensational fashion there in the first heat, but there's a long way to go still in the IAME Winter Cup. Still quite a few qualifying heats to go, but it's Boyer who wins it from Norman in second. Kadapik in third. Hakala is fourth from Bearman, Gilbert, Pintos, Ivanov, Kaliejas, Flushercross, Edqvist and Ollie Pilka. Then it's Felix Aparicio Rodriguez, Eric Alanis Bosch, Liam McNeely in 15th place in front of Eron Reshepi. Luca Graziani, the Italian, is 17th in front of Matthew Rees. Then it's Jules Goujon, Linus Janssen, Freddie Spindlow and Lola Lovenfoss, with, unfortunately, races ending early for both Zach Meakin and Benjamin Fugelsang. So a real shame for them, but it's a victorious start for Marty Boyer in the battle with Robin Norman, the Swede. And it's going to be interesting to see how that battle continues on through the course of the day. And I think we've only just really started to warm up in terms of how that battle is going to evolve through the course of the day. I think there's plenty more still to come from that one. Excuse me, my voice is already starting to take a turn for the worse, so I'll be fighting that one all day long, but I'm still going to be raring to go throughout the course of the day. Now we'll move on to the second qualifying heat for the X30 Juniors, and that is an